Hello, and thank you for joining me. In today's video, I am going to pour a rolling tray. Now, I know that I just used this mold. This is the rolling tray mold, and I just used it in the video for the vanity tray, but I actually want to make a rolling tray with this today. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to put a dragon in it and kind of use the same design that I used in the Flaming Dragon uh, resin video, and I will link both of those videos in the description box and in my pinned comments below. One thing I did find out, because this rolling tray, it is 7 inches by 10.2 by 0.8 inches. The 0.8 inches is all the way down the rim, but if you'll look here, there's barely any space at the top or the bottom of the tray. So when I poured this dragon, and I use the lime chameleon powder to pour it, and it's really pretty. I don't know if you can see the color shift on the camera or not. Anyhow, when I poured this dragon, I didn't pour it very deep at all because I wanted to make sure it would fit. And I mean, it does, barely. I poured another dragon. It was just regular, and it was too big. And this does barely fit. If I dome it right, we should be okay. But we are working backwards. So what I want to do is I want the dragon in the center of the tray. And then I want to mix some resin with some black pigment, epoxy pigment, and go around the whole edges with all the colors, starting with maybe a little bit of clear, then a little bit of black, and then yellow, orange, and red. And then the majority of the center, I want clear, because if it's not clear, you won't be able to see the dragon in the tray. And, you know, everything will sort of move in. And when it does, I hope that it does not move in and cover the dragon, because the dragon has got to literally be sitting flat on this tray because this tray is so thin. And I will try to draw flames in there like I did in the flaming video. So this mold takes 280 milliliters. I'm going to mix up first 200 milliliters to do all my colors and the clear for that first coat. And then when I go back to dome it, I'll mix 100 milliliters. I'd rather have too much than not enough. And I don't know yet if I'm going to, I know I can't pour clear for that doming, because if I do, you're going to see that, just see this part of the dragon, and that's not very attractive. It's just black. So I will either dome it, I don't know if I'm going to dome it with black, with red, possibly even gold. It just depends on how everything moves. So I'm going to wait until it gets to the sticky, not the sticky, excuse me. I want it to be at the soft stage before I dome it. And at that time, I'll kind of get an idea how everything moved to know what color I want to come back in for the dome. But those are my plans. I'm going to go ahead and get some resin mixed up, and I will see you in just a minute. I have the resin mixed, and I hope I've mixed enough of the clear. Anyhow, I am going to start with just putting a little bit of black around the edges. And I'm going to try to do this ever so slowly with as much control as possible. Make sure I get it in the mold and not on the mold. Let's stop there for a second. See if I can't go this way. And I want to put a little bit of black down and then check for bubbles. And then I'll probably finish off with the black. Let me scooch that down there. I always worry about the bubbles. The bubbles in the bubble pits. Yeah, I need to put more black in there. Come on, black. All right, I want to hang on to a little bit of that. Let me see if I can't get this spread around. And I hope that I mixed enough for what I need. And let me get this off of here. Don't want it up there. I don't mind it on the edges, but I don't want it in the center. Something else I wanted to mention, what's really nice about this mold is because it's got grid lines, you can tell where the center's at. So I should be able to center this dragon pretty well. All right, how much black do I have left? I still have a little bit left. Yeah, let me go ahead and I see some blank spots down in here. Let me see if I can't get it in here. I probably mixed too much of the other colors and not enough of this one. Okay. Yeah, there's still some blank. I just never know how much to mix of what. I mean, I know the overall total that I need. But because it is kind of experimental, I don't know how much of each color to mix. I'm just going to get the rest of this black in there and then go around it with my tool. After clean off a few of these smears. All right, and I'm going to leave those smears there because I'm going to be putting other colors down. But let me just kind of go around just in case there's bubbles. I really don't want any bubbles, and I don't want any bubble bits. All right. All right, now I am going to go ahead and do red, no, excuse me, yellow, then orange, then red. And again, I'm just going to try to go around the rim slowly as possible, carefully as possible, until I get my yellow in there. Oops. I'm just going to try and put this all in there. Let me stop there for a second. Still have yellow in the cup. I just need to get it scraped a little bit. I'm sorry if my hand's in your way. This may or may not work out. We just don't know. That's the whole idea of the experiment. I really want it to work out, which, is the case with every project that I work on. Because I would love to be able to make some really cool rolling trays and put them in my Etsy shop. Okay. Set that aside. Push that back some. All right. Now for the orange. And again, basically just doing the same thing. I'm hoping I'll be able to pull up some flames because I don't know. I'm sure going to try. I'll probably actually have to put my tool down in there and pull up, which is concerning because I don't want bubbles either. Let me go ahead and just finish this orange off. Then we'll do the red and then the clear. Let me see if I can do it that way without making too much of a mess. And the idea was great in my head, so we'll just see if that equates to paper. Maybe a little bit more orange in this corner. All right, now time for the red. And yeah, I'm going to actually literally have to take my tool into those crevices and where the rim's at and pull up if I want the colors to blend the way I want them to blend. Let's see if I can get this red going. Even if they don't look like flames, it still may look pretty cool. Get a little bit more there. Let me see if I can finish this red off. And again, I apologize that my hand's in your way. I don't know. My, I don't know. Maybe a little bit over here. Okay. Once again, let me moisten this towel and get some of these drips out of the center. I really don't want them in the center. I don't care if they're at the edge because I'm gonna be pulling my tool through, but I don't want them in the center. All right. Now I'm going to add the clear, and ideally this should be enough to fill up the center. I hope anyway. So I did mix 200 milliliters for this part. Let me get every little bit out of there. I'm going to let it spread for a little bit and then try to place that dragon on there in the center. And I don't know if I should help it. I don't know. Try to help it without touching the colors, because I want to mess with them in a little bit. Kind of try and spread that around. Y'all, I want this to turn out. I really want this to turn out. And if it's a flop, I'll just try it again. I have so many ideas that I want to use this tray on. Bear with me, y'all. I'm just trying to carefully help it spread so that I can get my dragon in there. I'm trying real hard not to touch those colors much. Touching them a little bit, I don't mean to. Whoops, just like that. All right, we're just about at the edge all the way around. And I guess if on the edge, I'm going to be doing some pulling that tool through. It shouldn't matter. So let's go ahead and set this aside now. Look for bubbles. Always bubbles. Spray a little alcohol. I don't want to do that. Ideally, if I give it a little thumps, just because I don't want bubbles on the rim. We'll see how this turns out. It's anybody's guess. Anyway, here's the cute little dragon. And I'm going to find the center, or what I think is the center, up a little bit. And get my tool. I want to give it some taps just in case there's like air underneath. Again, just to avoid bubbles. That looks pretty centered to me. All right, now the fun begins. Let me get some of the sticky off my hands. And think about how I want to do this tool, because I know that there's some black way underneath. There's some yellow way underneath. And I know this is going to spread this way, so I don't want to pull too far. I don't want to pull too far. We'll just see what happens. I'm not seeing any yellow really. Maybe a teeny tiny tad bit. Don't want to pull too far, because I know it's going to spread toward the center as it cures. Oh, and I need to be careful. I'm getting bubbles in there. Slow down. Maybe wipe my tool after each spread. Not much there. Let's pull some more up. Bubble. I'll spray it for bubbles here in a minute. Well, let me pop those two bubbles. I'm thinking over here it needs a little more help. I just go in there with a little bitty whisk, just to pull a little bit up and hope that it doesn't totally overtake my dragon. And yeah, the black is not coming up. The yellow, not really, just a little bit maybe. But that's okay. We might end up having a really cool rim on this thing. And that's the whole idea, for it to look kind of like a fantasy or cool. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually leave it like it is. Let it start curing, and once it gets to the soft stage, I want it soft. I don't want to take a chance of hurting anything underneath that we've already done. So I'm going to let it, I'll bubble sit, of course, let it cure until it's soft. And then when I come back on, I guess that's when we'll decide, when I'll know what color I'm going to finish it off with yet. Because until it finishes moving, I really don't know. But with all that red right now, I'm thinking black. But we will see. So I will see you, I don't know, 3-4 hours, however long it takes. I'll continue to check it and bubble sit it. So I'll see you in a little bit. All right, we're back. So I'm going to tell you what happened. It was late and this stuff was still not thick enough, so I went ahead and went to bed. When I got up this morning and looked at it, I noticed that because of resin shrinks when it starts to cure, the dragon, there was a lot of edges, and I knew if I poured a color of any resin that would go up underneath those edges and skew the dragon, and I didn't want to do that. So I had to come back in with a little bit of clear and hopefully still saving enough room to dome it. And on the doming, because unlike the first video, the flaming dragons, that mold was thick, so I could actually do layers. This one is so thin that I can't do layers. So if I use red to dome it with, or for the bottom of the tray, I'm afraid it's just going to mess up those flamey looking things. So I thought, well, I'll use black. And then I started thinking if I use black, because again, I can't layer it, then it's going to mute the dragon on the other side. And then I started thinking about one of the comments from a viewer in that video, the Flaming Dragons, when I was talking about how the one that was mostly clear, but in the back, all you could see was a silhouette. She mentioned top coating it with gold. Now, I didn't do that, but I think gold is what I'm going to use here. My only concern is because it's going to be a super thin layer. There's a strong possibility you're still going to be able to see part of the silhouette of the dragon through the gold. I don't know. We will find out. I do have the gold mixed, and it is super pretty. And I'm going to try real hard to get this poured without overflowing, because there's really not a whole bunch of room in here. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to just pour some in the center, a pretty good puddle, and then step aside and let it flow. And while I'm waiting on that, I wanted to mention, when I was pouring the edges of this, I poured black and then yellow, and I was hoping to be able to pull that through. That didn't happen. Now, when I unmold it, I am hoping for some kind of cool design on the edges. But because it was black and yellow, I keep thinking it's probably going to look like a bumblebee, but I hope not. We'll see. We'll see what it turns out like. I don't want to really pick that up, so let me go ahead and pour some. Let me spread it before I start pouring. I just really don't want to overflow. I'm going to spread it for a little bit. And yeah, I can still feel that. I mean, it's a strong possibility that I don't know, can you guys see that when I run that across? You can see the dragon. Let's pour some more. Kind of sticking out a little bit, and that's not what I want. I'm going to pour what I have in here. I have a little bit more mixed up if I need it. I just haven't added gold to it. Just get this all out of here. See if we can't get it spread. And yeah, I'm afraid that dragon may be poking out a little bit. I still have some neat ideas for this mold, But I do know now that if I put anything in it at all, it's got to be extremely flat. Let's see if we can get this to spread. Yeah, I think that even after I unmold it, I still may have to try to top coat it just to hide the humps of the dragon because it is, I can see it. Let me see if I can spread better with this other tool. Remove that and see if I can get it to spread a little bit better. I really wanted this dragon to work out, and it still may look okay. I mean, we're not finished yet. Do I have really long, looks like a hair. Still feel like I'm dragging a hair around. Maybe it's just the lighting. Well, it's not spreading as fast as I thought. Maybe I will have a little more room. I may need to mix up some more and put it on here. We'll see. I mean, that'd be great if it doesn't overflow it. Because I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, the dragon's really sticking out. I'm going to get this spread out and see. If I feel like I have a little more room to mix a little bit more, I'll do that. I mean, I would love to have enough room to hide that because I know it's very, very visible. This is very, very gold. I have a little bit of resin over here still that's just clear, but it's just a little bit, but maybe enough. Let's scooch. And because of the resin underneath, that other clear coat that I poured, it's still, I mean, it's sticky. It's not real hard. And y'all, I think I may have enough room to pour a little bit without overflowing. Try and get it up over here. And let me go ahead and mix this little bit of resin I have over here with some gold and pour it in the center. Because yeah, there's still room. Not a bunch, but there's some. And that's unfortunate. I would love to be able to make a whole bunch of trays with dragons. Maybe I can do that with the serving tray. Let me get some resin in here. Let me just, what I have here, which is like, I don't know, it's not very much, but maybe it'll be enough. I mixed extra because I had other plans, but those plans can wait. This is more important right now. All right, let me get a little more of the gold mica in here. Get it stirred up and see if it's going to be enough. It may be. I hope so. And this is the same gold mica that I used on the rolling tray that I made into a vanity. Let me get this stirred. But it may be enough. I just want to make sure I get that powder good and stirred in there. I don't want any dry powder flakes popping up in the cured item. Yeah, this, I don't know, this may be enough because I mean, it's pretty full. It's just not quite full enough. And I'm afraid this still may be an issue even afterwards. Even though I tried to pour it thinner, it's still too thick for this thin tray. I may actually try to put some in serving trays. I mean, why not? Why not have themed parties with charcuterie boards that match? I'm gonna let this set for a second, just in case any dry powder wants to pop up. But yeah, I'm hoping the gold will work well to show the dragon and the flames. I have no idea what the rim's going to look like. I'm concerned about how that may look. I should have poured clear, then all the different colors, but I didn't. Those were my intentions, but then I didn't mix enough of the, I didn't have enough of the clear mixed. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can do this without overflowing. I may want to stop there for a second. I don't want to get too, I am guilty of being heavy-handed. And I just want to see how it's going to flow. Look on the side here. I mean, it looks like it could handle a little bit more. That's scary. Let me see if I can put it just a little bit down here. A little bit here. And not overflow. I can still see that dragon. So it may be a little humpy in the back. I don't know. Let me bend down here and give it a peek. That looks pretty domed to me. I'm scared to put any more in for fear that it will overflow. So I think I'm going to leave well enough alone. There's only a little bit left anyway. I'll leave it alone. Let it cure. And I guess we'll all see what we have when it comes time for the unmolding. All right, well, I'll see you in, it'll be 24 hours for me. It'll be a few minutes for you. See you in a minute. It is time for the unmolding. And as you can see here, you know, I figured you'd be able to see the outline of the dragon, and you can. But running your hands across it, or my hand across it, it doesn't feel like it's like popping out of there, which is nice. It's just a smooth surface. But let's go ahead and see what we have. Again, I'm super curious about, ouch, the rim. I just don't want it to look like a bumblebee. So let's see if we can go ahead and get this out of the mold. I do see some Humpty Doos that I'll have to use an X-Acto knife to clean off. In the mold, it looks pretty cool. I would love to be able to use these dragons in this tray, but unfortunately, they're just a little too thick for the tray itself. So let me, oh, well, y'all, I see a bubble pit here, which can be fixed with the top coat. There's a dent here. I don't know what that's all about. And it looks like maybe somehow I managed to scratch down with my tool. I don't know what happened there. The rim doesn't look as bad as I thought. It does kind of look cool. I was afraid it was just going to look like a black and yellow bumblebee butt or something, but it doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty cool. And the gold does look good with the red and the dragon. But unfortunately, there's that divot that I don't know what caused that. And I mean, it almost looks like I took my tool down there and scraped it, but I don't think I scraped that far down or anything. I don't know. And there's some bubble pits on the edges. I really wanted that to turn out much better. It could be worse though too. Now, I don't think I'm going to try to do a dragon in this tray mold again, but what I will do is I do have the serving tray. And I think that the dragon would look cool in there, depending on what kind of party you're having, but I just really like the dragon. Overall, it's not too bad, but it's not as good as I would like. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I do want to thank you for watching and ask you to please consider hitting the like, subscribe, and share buttons. And I will see you next time. Thank you again for watching.